the guys from Ping, they've kind of shown me how much the equipment matters.
I just love that I can hit any shot I kind of want.
We're going to be able to tell some fun stories about what goes on here to help golfers play better golf.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Ping Proving Grounds podcast. I'm Shane Bacon, joined by Harris English as we get set for the Ryder Cup. Harris, you're playing a lot of big events. You're playing a lot of big golf events. What is the pressure like as we kind of inch towards Ryder Cup week versus maybe a Masters week or a U.S. Open or something like that?
Man, there's nothing like it. I mean, this is the pinnacle of our sport for a reason. The atmosphere is unlike anything I've ever been a part of. But my prep, I mean, I've been starting my prep the last couple days, coming off Napa, just kind of getting in the mode. I mean, it feels like I'm getting ready for the Masters, getting ready for the U.S. Open. I'm trying out some guys, some of my teammates' golf balls, kind of figuring out of potential alternate shot partners and whatnot. So there's a lot that goes into it. And I was texting with Sneds this morning about getting with the scouts and kind of dialing in what yardages I need to hone my game in. And yeah, man, there's a lot of moving parts, moving pieces, and we're trying to be as tactical as we can.
What are those yardages? Was there anything specific like 180, 190 longer? I mean, Bethpage is a beast. Like anything specific you're kind of focused on club wise?
Yeah, for my potential alternate shot partners, definitely like that 175 to 225 par threes, some of the longer par fours. So I'm then that's kind of the practice which I don't really do a whole lot of, is hitting a lot of 4 and 5 irons on the range and doing some of my TrackMan games. So I'm trying to work on that and getting really comfortable with kind of those 4, 5, 6 irons.
I was going to ask you this later, but you mentioned the golf ball thing. I think people always wonder about that. You know, who picks the ball? I've always thought it felt like whoever's approach shot was probably the ball that you're using. What is kind of the behind the curtain philosophy on golf ball? If you're playing one golf ball and the guy you're playing with plays a different one, who's teeing off with what ball considering the hole?
Yeah, I think it's all on who's hitting that approach shot, getting those irons in your hands. So for me, I'm hitting whoever the partner I have. I'm hitting his ball off the tee, say on number one, and then he's hitting the approach shot in the green. But we're pretty much switching on every hole. I'm sure some teams have one ball and they choose one ball if guys play the similar ball. But I mean, the guys I've been trying out, we all play different balls. I play a 2017 Pro V1, and there's probably 4 or 5 guys on the PGA Tour that play it. Guys play TaylorMade. Ben Griffin plays Maxfly. Xander plays Callaway. So there's a lot of different golf balls that people play, and that's something that kind of gets overlooked a little bit of how you're gonna attack that, and just for us more the spin rate and kind of the launch conditions. Especially if it gets windy or into the wind, you want to make sure your ball's not falling out of the air or coming up shorter than you're used to. So trying to get ahead of that as much as possible.
I know you've played Bethpage a couple times, kind of in tournament conditions and tournament style events over the course of your career. Give people that maybe don't know a ton about Bethpage or maybe don't remember much from 2019 or back in the day U.S. Opens. Maybe give people like a player's breakdown of what the golf course asks, what it looks like, and maybe some of the things that are a little bit different than maybe a Whistling Straits or a different type of golf course that you're playing in and around an event like this.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I didn't play it in 2019. I feel like I played it my first year on tour. I think it was the Barclays,
Yep.
which was the sponsor back in 2012, and I remember playing really well, and I think I was maybe in the top 5 or 6, and I made just like one of the worst triple bogeys on 18 that you could ever. And I remember hitting 3 wood off the tee, and I pulled it just a hair, and it goes in the rough. Then I try to force it up by the green, getting in the wispy grass by the green. I just made a complete mess of the last hole. But um, I really love the golf course. I can't remember who designed it, but it's such an old school feel, just like your classic U.S. Open. And I think how we're going to set it up is not going to look like a U.S. Open. It's not going to have the chop out rough. They're going to move some tees around. I mean, I think where the grandstands are on one, they had to move the tee up, and guys can almost drive the green. I mean, I'm sure you're going to see Bryson and Rory like literally try to hit it on the green on number one, which would be pretty cool. Kind of like he did at Whistling Straits. So it's going to be a different vibe. I obviously haven't seen it with the setup and where all the stands are going to be placed, but playing Whistling Straits, it was kind of coming out of COVID, and I'm not sure if they limited the tickets that week, but man, it's going to be in full force out there. I know a lot of people have been having this circled on their calendar for a while now, and it's going to be one of the ultimate sporting experiences. But I'm looking forward to get up there. We're going to play, I think, 18 holes on Monday and play 9 holes Tuesday, 9 Wednesday, 9 Thursday. Probably get in more like alternate shot, best ball stuff, and kind of figure out who we're playing with. But I'm looking forward to getting back up there. I love how the course is framed. It's tree lined, and it kind of gives you some good visuals off the tee, which I really like. So I'm looking forward to it. There's a lot of different holes. There's not a whole lot of water. I think there's maybe water short of the par three on what, seven. So that's pretty unique on a golf course to just have one water hazard just short of the green. But it's going to be awesome. I'm so much looking forward to getting up there.
Yeah, I mean, your second time doing a Ryder Cup, obviously, as you mentioned, Whistling Strait's a little bit different, kind of coming out of COVID and all that. I mean, it was raucous there as well. I was lucky to kind of be around there that week, and it was wild. Obviously, very dominant performance by the U.S. But I think something unique about the Ryder Cup is, it starts on Friday, right? So the anticipation, you're thinking about it. You qualify on points, so you're on the team, before captain's picks happen. As you get into Ryder Cup week, like you're playing these practice rounds, you're having these team meetings. Are you just itching by Wednesday, like to get on the golf course and actually start playing? Like, is it the most anticipation you feel in terms of any golf week you play?
It is for sure. I mean, we're all getting up there Sunday afternoon, and you do trying on all your clothes and getting everything dialed in. And what's unique about this event is you have stuff to do pretty much every night, and it kind of gets us out of our routine, our normal routine. Everybody has a different routine and tournaments and majors and all that. But you got to kind of set that aside and like I'm doing whatever the team's doing. I can tailor my routine around that. So that's something I kind of learned at Whistling Straits, and like you said, like it's such a slow build to Friday, and then once Friday hits, it's like a blur. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then you kind of wake up and you're hopefully partying in the team room on Sunday night. Um, Man, it's awesome. We do a lot of cool things. The team dinners, the even going with a dinner with the European team, which I didn't get to do at Whistling Straits because of COVID. Opening ceremony is amazing. So yeah, I mean it's a build up to a tournament like no other, and with it starting on Friday, it just feels like it creeps along to get there, and then once it starts, it's a blur.
You're a pretty cool, calm, collected player. I'd say throughout your career, you're somebody that seems pretty even keel no matter the situation out on the golf course, no matter if that's not the case between your ears. When you're watching a match at a Ryder Cup, when you're watching your teammates play a match, when you're not playing, what does it feel like internally for Harris English? Like, are you more nervous, or are you kind of like looking at the lie? I mean, how do you kind of go about being a viewer when you're not out there playing in a certain format?
Yeah, it's like watching my friends play on PGA Tour. Like I'm so much more nervous watching golf than I am playing it. Like I know that first tee is going to be nerve wracking and the butterflies and you're got the adrenaline through the roof. But I feel like kind of once that first tee shot gets out of the way and you kind of start getting in the rhythm of the round, you kind of settle down and kind of go through your routines and all that. But man, watching golf, watching your teammates play and pulling as hard for them as anybody. I mean, it's nerve wracking. I don't know how people do it.
Yeah, I mean, like I always think about like wives of players or like husbands of players on the LPGA tour, or dads. You see Scotty Scheffler's dad always around the 18th green, and just what that feeling must be, as a parent or a partner of somebody. Because when you're playing, and you kind of have a bit of control. But when you're not hitting the golf shots, you have no control of it, and you're just hoping for the best. It's a completely different kind of mind game as a golf fan, because you know probably what they're going through, and maybe how hard the shot is or how intimidating all of that stuff might be. I wanted to ask you about, I know you're not going to give out who you're playing with or who you might be playing with, but I did want to ask about input. because we live in an analytical world, and I know analytics have become a huge part of the Ryder Cup. Is there a certain style of player that you'd prefer to play with? A great driver of the golf ball, great iron player, great short game. Do you get any of that input to somebody like Keegan versus them kind of telling you maybe who you're going to play with?
They kind of do that. Him and all the assistant captains kind of do that with our scouts. They go all over all the analytics. And what I thought Keegan did a good job of is he took a personality test from Kirby Smart. That I guess Kirby has a guy he works with at Georgia that does all these personality tests on his team, and he did that for us, and he can kind of put us in groups. And I don't know if he used that. For me, like, I stay pretty even keeled on the course, but I like the guy that I play with that has a lot of fire, because I feel like that brings it out of me, and I want that. Like, I always want to do that on the golf course, but sometimes I don't. But I like having a guy like that to kind of get me going. So personally, for me, I like that. But I think it's more for Keegan of guys that get along, guys that enjoy playing with each other. Like, he would send me a list of, like, hey, name some guys you want to play with, and he'll do that with every player, and just kind of find the like mindedness of all everybody's list, and get with the analytics team, and, like, all right, if we put this guy with Harris, what holes are they going to play, or best ball, how are they going to match up? So I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the curtains that I don't hear about, I don't see, but they've been working on this for a long time. And for me, I'm like, just tell me who I'm playing with, tell me what hole I'm teeing off of, and what I need to practice to get ready, and I'm going to be
Yeah, where's the first tee? What's the course record? That's kind of the
ready.
mentality for you as you get ready for a Ryder Cup. You played so good in the majors this year. I'd say easily your best major season of your career. Did you change anything in terms of the way you played the majors? You went into them. I mean, obviously a couple second place finishes at the PGA and the Open, but you played well at Augusta as well. Did anything shift in terms of your mentality, approach, or was it just good golf?
A little bit of everything. I've really been working on kind of my off-course habits, off-course routines that kind of bleed into tournament play. Of I feel like I've become a more efficient practicer. I'm better with my body. I'm better with my hydration, and all of this stuff. Better with my sleep. All of this stuff kind of adds up, and I've been working with a performance coach for now right about a year, and he's been great. Just pacing myself through these majors, because it's I put them in categories like regular PGA Tour events, and the majors are obviously above that, and then I feel like the Ryder Cup's above that. But the majors, there's just more going on. You have more obligations. The pressure's ramped up. You want to play good so bad, and it's kind of the culmination of having a lot of experience in these tournaments. I've been to the Masters now 5, 6 times. Obviously, the U.S. Open venues change, but kind of the cadence stays the same, and I've become better at being more efficient, and now with a 2-year-old daughter, I kind of have to be, and I'm not out there practicing 8 or 9 hours a day. I'm getting, if I'm practicing 4 or 5 hours, I'm being super efficient with it, and I'm having a plan for the day, and I'm getting it done and getting back home.
Is it something that, I feel like people probably answer the question, can you win a major or do you think you can win a major? And most golfers or athletes are going to say yes, right? But has there been a little bit of that transition internally with you where like the belief has grown as well in terms of the biggest events in golf? You've always been a great player and you've always been a very consistent player, but it feels like the consistency's gone up and the results have gone up.
Yeah, I mean, I've had people tell me that for most of my career, of like, you're going to win a major someday. Your game is built for majors, and maybe I'm starting to believe that more. And I love playing really hard golf courses. I love playing really hard tests, and I feel like I can use my tactical ability, and the cool and calmness, I guess, of not letting the moment get too big, and kind of sticking to my plan, and sticking to my guns. So I feel like it's been a big jump for me this year. And majors, I've had, I mean, really since 2020, I've had a couple top fives in the U.S. Open, and I kind of parlayed that into playing really well at Quail this year, and my best finish by far at the Open Championship at Portrush. So yeah, it's a little more belief, some good golf, and some of my Sunday rounds at the majors this year have been some of my best. So I feel like that's kind of the day I'm feeling the best and going to get it, and getting the most out of myself.
What about the putting? Anything changed in that department? You've been incredible on the greens, I feel like, this season. Would you say best putting year of your career?
I'll have to look at the stats. I feel like I've been pretty consistent the last 10 years or so, which is weird because in college, I feel like I was a really good ball striker, and my putting was very sporadic. Like I think I won 4 times in college, but it was like the tournaments I played really well, I putted well, and now it's kind of the backbone of my game, and I've been very consistent with my practice. Been working with the same guy for probably 12 years now down in Jacksonville. Um, just my drills that I do, I'm very consistent with literally every day. I'm doing this stuff for an hour and a half, and it pays off. I mean, it's boring work. It's not flashy, but I'm probably one of the few. I'm still putting with the same putter I putted with my senior year of college. Like I don't like changing a whole lot. Like if I'm gonna put in the hours and the effort and all that, I'm gonna know what that putter's doing, and I don't really like changing. So I sticking with the routine, sticking with my drills, and if something's off, then I know it's probably me.
Do you have a backup of that gamer just in case something happens to it? I mean, that's something, I remember Faxon telling me he had a couple backups of his gamer just in case, right? Do you start to kind of, when you realized this was going to be your baby for a while, you started to figure out a way to get more just in case?
Yeah, I've probably got 3 or 4. Whenever this one starts acting up, and I got them all gripped the same and all same loft and lies. So if this one started acting up, it's going to go in the golf closet.
Anything new kind of in the bag over the last couple of months as you get closer and closer to this Ryder Cup? Anything that had changed in the bag, for Bethpage?
I've been tinkering with. I've never really played a hybrid before. I've kind of tinkered with a 5 wood over the years. I haven't really found a five. The 5 woods are so hot now. Like that's the hard thing for us is it's hard for me to look down at a 7 wood loft and like, all right, I'm going to hit this 255 and not try to lean on it and match it. But I've played this 3 iron, kind of driving iron for a long time now. I played a 2 iron at the same version at the Open at Portrush, and they just came out with a 3 iron driving iron. That's a newer version. I can't remember the name of it, but I was actually testing some of it today with my coach, and it goes a little bit further. But that's kind of the gap in my bag. I hit my 4 iron about 225, and I hit my 3 wood close to 270. So I actually had it a lot last week where I'd have 240, 245 to the hole, and it's kind of the gap in my bag of finding a club that goes probably consistently 245, 250. And you can hit it high, you can hit it low, you're going to hit it off the tee some, hit it in the par fives. So that's a tough club for me to find, and sometimes it varies based on what course you go to and what yardages and flights that you want to have in the greens.
Obviously, a captain's pick of Whistling Straits, and you qualified this time around. Is that a goal of yours to start the season? And B, does it take a little pressure off qualifying for the team versus maybe being a captain's pick and having to feel like you might have to go out there and quote unquote prove yourself, amongst your peers?
Yeah, that's a good point. That was the goal of mine starting the year. I had 2 goals: make the Ryder Cup team, make the Tour Championship, and that was kind of always at the forefront of my mind going in these big events, goes into majors. But yeah, I mean, a good thing that Keegan has done throughout the this year is being very open and honest with us, and um, he would text me positive stuff throughout the year, and I'm like, I want to qualify for this team on points. I don't want you to have to. It come down to me and somebody else, and I don't want to put you through that because that sucks. And I wanted to make this team on my own, and it was an awesome feeling to do that and kind of prove to myself that I belong on this team and I made it on my own. But yeah, I mean, making it on the team on points, being a captain's pick, we're all there trying to do the best we can, and we're gonna have. I mean, it's a lot of pressure. I mean, it's a lot different than you teeing it up by yourself and some of these majors. Of I'm always in control of good, bad, and different of what I do. And now you're playing for yourself. You're playing for the other 11 guys. You're playing for Keegan. You're playing for the assistant captains, for your family, for your country. I mean, there's a lot more. So all of we're we're at a very heightened state, and we don't take this lightly. And everybody on this team is grinding their ass off this week to get ready and doing everything they can because they don't want to be the weak link. And that's awesome. I mean, we're not going out there playing for $4 million at the Ryder Cup. We're playing for each other and playing for that flag on our chest and on our hat, and just it's a whole lot different feeling, and it's what golf's about. I mean, it's awesome.
Who texts the most in the group chat?
Keegan will fire off some good stuff. Justin's always into it. Xander's always coming up with some good stuff.
Kind of
We
surprising. I thought Xander would be like a 2 hour screen time guy. I'm surprised by that.
Xander's sneaky. Xander's very
Okay.
sneaky.
Okay.
One of the funniest guys I've ever been around, and he doesn't shy away from banter at all. He loves it. So we've got some good group texts going on the last few weeks, and had a good time at Napa, getting all together and getting on the same page and watching some inspirational stuff, and Keegan getting up and commanding the room, and we all know how much this means to him and how proud he is to be the captain, and we all know that he had a tough decision to make of not picking himself, and we understood it both ways. I mean, he's one of the best players in the world, and if he wasn't the captain this year, he would 100% be on the Ryder Cup team. But I know that he's put a lot of time and effort into getting this thing the way it is, and he's going to have everything, the T's crossed and the I's dotted and ready to go. And he's going to put all his heart and soul into being the best captain that he can be, and let us go do what we do.
Harris, I was thinking about that Whistling Straits team today. You think about how dominant the performance was, but also just thinking about some of the players on that team. And I think, like our side of stuff in the media, you looked at that team and Brooks and DJ and Jordan and kind of the crew, Tony, like the crew that was a part of that team. It felt like, wow, this is going to be that American squad for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, right? And there's been so much changeover in terms of the players on that squad. What does it say, like when you kind of look at that team versus 2019? What does it say about your consistency, longevity in the game that you're still on that team when maybe some of those names we thought would likely be a shoe-in to be on that team aren't going to be there in the red, white, and blue?
Yeah, and that's what I've talked about with some of the guys on the team is like you can never take this for granted. I mean, once you're on some of those teams, once you're playing really good golf, you never think it's going to go away. And making that team in 2021, not making the team in Rome, then it's like you kind of have some serious FOMO of not making those teams because you know how much fun it is. And like I said, it's the pinnacle of our sport. And that's kind of what I've talked to some guys about is just like slow it down as much as you can, take it all in because we don't know where we're all going to be in 2 years or 4 years or 6 years. You don't know how many more teams you're going to make. And Keegan has definitely hammered that home with us. And like he said, he said that I may have hit my last shot in the Ryder Cup, and he's okay with that. And we all have to be okay with that and leave it all out there because you have no idea where this game is going to take you, and you certainly can't take it for granted of playing in these Ryder Cups.
Yeah, Harris, it almost feels like, the rookies that make their Super Bowl their first year and they lose, and it's kind of like, oh, we'll be back, and then it's like, you might not be back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it's so awesome, it's so much fun. I mean, hearing players talk about the Ryder Cup, it's just such a different feeling in golf versus anything else you hear, right? Solheim Cup, I'd say very, very similar. I'm assuming the Walker Cup has those same vibes for amateur players, Curtis Cup and beyond, but just being there, getting the outfits, getting the bag, getting the head covers, seeing like the hats that your teammates are wearing, being in the team room. I think it's why fans just feel so different about it, and the excitement that fans feel as well. I mean, you see this circled for years out, in terms of which golf tournament people are the biggest fans of. And it's so cool to see the players feel the same way because fans have long thought the Ryder Cup is the best. And it really does feel like this generation of player kind of equals that excitement to the fans out there.
Yeah, I mean it goes back to being in the team room, hanging out with these guys, and you get an insight to everybody on a deeper level of being in there with Scotty Scheffler and like what he's thinking about, what he's going through, and all these different guys and stuff that you normally don't get to do because we're all competing against each other every week of the year. So it's unlike anything else I've ever been a part of. high school teams. Being at Georgia, we had some really good teams and super close with those guys. Played in a Walker Cup at Aberdeen. There's nothing like it, and I love team golf, and it takes me back to playing basketball or soccer or football back in the day. Like that's what we crave is being a part of that team and being wanted and being kind of in the mix and being amongst some of the best players in the world. So I love it and something. I mean, it was my number one goal this year. I'm 36 years old. Who knows if this is going to be my last Ryder Cup, and I'm going to give it everything I have. I'm going to really practice hard this week and show up prepared and ready. If Keegan wants me to play 5 matches, I'll be ready. If he wants me to play singles on Sunday, I'll be ready. And I'm going to bring out my pom-poms and cheer as hard as I can because I want that Ryder Cup back.
What's the come down like? Like, what's like the Tuesday after a Ryder Cup win? I mean, is it like leaving camp when you're a kid where you just go like, what do I do now? Like, what's that
Yeah.
come down like the week after?
Your adrenaline never really comes down. I mean, it's probably going to start Wednesday or Thursday. I know probably the opening ceremony probably going to start when the national anthem, they read the pairings out. Like there, for me, it's like playing the 18th hole in a major, literally every hole. From number 1 to 18, you're playing 18 coming down the stretch, like one shot back at the Masters. That's what it feels like. So that's what I said. Like, you got to pace yourself and kind of, I mean, this is only my second one, so I'm sure other guys will relay this too, but you got to pace yourself and not try to get up too early and to have energy for Sunday because it's a long week. We've got lots of practice rounds, lots of dinners, lots of kind of extra stuff that we don't normally do, and it's easy to kind of wear yourself out. But it's unlike anything else, and waking up Monday after the party on Sunday is pretty tough, and you're definitely mentally dead for a few days, and you have to come back to to reality.
All right, last thing for you. Obviously, the Georgia Tennessee game was kind of an epic one. Can you give me your novice scouting report and maybe prediction for Georgia football this year?
Number one, I'm very impressed with Gunnar Stockton. From kind of I don't know the guy at all. I follow Georgia football. I follow recruiting. I know how talented he is, and he seems like you're made for Georgia football. He's made to be the quarterback from Georgia. North Georgia guy, drives around his like granddad's 1970 something Ford pickup. Like, I love everything what this guy's about. I have no idea what he's getting paid in the NIL. It's not flashy at all. He brings his lunch pail, plays hard football, and that's it. So I like everything about it. And what they did at Tennessee, like we literally stole that game. And
Yeah.
just the back and forth, we're not used to having those shootouts like that. I mean, we're used to playing really good defense, having a 20-13 game, and it got out of hand. Defense blew some coverages, but our offense kept up, and that's what impressed me the most. I know our defense will get solidified, and Kirby will get on those guys a little bit and get that shored up. But I was impressed with how well our receivers played and how well Gunner handled the moment, and that 4th and 5, 4th and 8 pass down the sideline to Humphreys was incredible, and he kind of went for it all and got it in 2-point conversion. So everything lined up, but I was so impressed with how he handled the moment.
You get your moment this week. We'll be excited to watch, Harris. Congrats again on making the Ryder Cup. Thanks so much for taking the time. Go out there and play your game, man. You've been so impressive this year throughout the big events, obviously the win and all that stuff. So we're excited to watch it. Thank you for the time. This is the Payne Proving Grounds podcast.